Hello, my friends, and welcome. Welcome back, as always. So today I'm going to talk about something a little different. Instead of the relationship issues, I want to talk about something a little bit more serious when it comes to the realities of life and aging. Now, when I talk about aging, I'm talking about your parents. Because I've had two cases where I've had people call in and talk to me and ask my advice on how they can deal with issues on having an in-law within the household who's either sucking resources from the existing family, meaning you and your husband, you and your wife, and it's your mother or your father who has literally either not built themselves so that they could sustain themselves into their later age, or they've had an illness that put them in that situation where you now have to take care of them.
We are in the middle of a giant societal change. In the next 3 decades, there are going to be more older people, those who are over the age of 65, than ever before in history. Some have called this the Gray Tsunami, and it's happening on a global scale. Now, like us, our parents are getting older every day. And in the same way that they took care of us, soon we're going to be responsible for taking care of them. And some of us already are.
My dad was always so strong and, he was my big protector. He wound up taking out his pension so I could go to college. I want to give back to him. I want to make it easy for him because he's getting older.
And unfortunately, this is a reality that every single adult have to come to. Our parents are living longer and they have not planned for the future in which they had to sustain themselves in order to not be a burden on their kids. And unfortunately, a lot of these parents are now having to rely on their kids. But in most cases, people who were in this situation are not celebrities like these two individuals that I'm going to talk about right now. And this story came across my feed this morning concerning these two celebrities. Mr. Benzino and his daughter, Coi Leray. Apparently, he had to ask his daughter for some money. And the daughter took that as an advantage to discredit her father, call him out. And really, to me, that is the lowest form of respect to any parent, regardless of who you are, whether you're a celebrity or no celebrity. This is not something that should be aired in public. And it's worse when the two people are celebrities, where everybody think that they know your business. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. But before we get into this, guys, you know the drill. Come on, if you've been here before, thumbs up on the video right now, just so that we can get this video pushed out to more people. Of course, if you need answers to some of your life problems right now, and it's a quick one, get me over on Instagram, Ask an Older Man, send me a voice message. I will respond as soon as I can. I usually respond within a couple of hours, okay? And of course, if you need a lot more problems to be solved, you need a mentor or father figure, someone to just give you that little bit of reassurance that you're doing something bad or you can't find an answer to a certain problem, give me a shout over at askanolderman.com, book a session, and I'll be happy to help you within a half hour or 1 hour chat. My job is to give you solutions. My job is to help you find solutions. I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to coddle you, just so that you understand. That's not what I do. I'm not going to tell you about your childhood and all of that shit. No, you got a problem, explain the problem to me, and then we will try to figure out a solution. That's what men do. If you want to feel good about yourself and you want to get back into your childhood, that's not what I do. That's not me. I'm not qualified for that. Take it to a therapist. I'm going to have a couple of qualified therapists online soon. Hopefully I can find a couple of men that can talk to men to help solve problems. Don't want therapists who are just looking to make people feel good. So if you know any male therapists that could do online work, please point me to these gentlemen and I would love to be able to interview them for this channel. Okay, So now that that's said, let's get into the video. Let's hear what this gentleman says, and then we can have a discussion on whether he's right or wrong.
And what I called you for. Yeah, I called you for some money. I made you. You didn't make me. You're right, I called Ray Ray and everybody else. I'm supposed to. Who the fuck else am I supposed to call? What the fuck is the matter with this generation and you kids, man? Y'all are
Well, he has a point right out the back. I mean, if you can't call on family when you need them, regardless of how much money you've made or whatever, family should be your first priority. And you know, listen, man, I have 5 sisters. I have a network of sisters, and we all have issues. We all do quite well. We all sort of intertwine some of our investments. And the idea is that, you know, whenever each or any of us are having, you know, financial issues, or whether we having mental issues or physical issues, we are always there for each other. I am so fortunate to have some amazing sisters that are with me. But he has a point. Who else do you call when you're in trouble? You call family first. If family can't help, then you focus on other arenas. But family should be the first source of help that you go for. That comes with a caveat, and I'm going to explain that further on.
Angie knew what she was doing. She don't like me. Angela Yee knew what she was doing. She don't like me. But you had no problem with disrespecting the fucking man that brought you here. I had you. You didn't have me.
No. He's right. This father brought this child into the world, but he does not have the right to make her feel guilty of that. Now, I know he's speaking with bravado and he's pushing up his chest because his daughter disrespect him, but you have to look at it from both sides of the coin. The daughter has no right to disrespect him, and the father has no right to make her feel guilty for not helping him. So let's proceed. Let's hear what he has to say. So I just want to make that caveat that I'm not going for one or either side. I'm trying to show you guys the complexity of this situation.
My career, I did fucking things. Amazing things. I'm proud of what you're doing, but Coy, you ain't done this shit or made the money that I made. You couldn't walk in my fucking Adidas for an hour. How can you get on here and say that you're a clout? I'm using you for clout. Coy, your first record was disrespecting me. Your first record that Universal allowed was you disrespecting your father. And that narrative of me not being there and you had to come out and sell drugs and you had to overcome all these obstacles. No. You was bad. Your mother sent you down to live with me in Atlanta. You couldn't cope with that because I wasn't going for the shit that she goes for and went for.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is a lot of these so-called fake gangster rappers want to portray that they had a bad life and they overcame and the struggle that they went through.
How you get to live this life and we over here struggling? But I realized I really had to separate myself. You know, we done slept in cars, hotel rooms, one hotel room with all of us in it. I done sold drugs. I done worked at Dunkin' Donuts registers, A&P Supermarket, Palermo's Bakery, and I done it all.
But she came from a celebrity father. This guy was a massive celebrity in his days. He did a dramatic fall. I looked at his net worth in the early days. He was making around 10 million. Now it's dropped to $1 million right now in 2023. He's had some serious problems, but the point is that the daughter benefited from him when he was in his prime. So now she's obviously made these songs disrespecting him. And I'm sure a lot of that came from the mother because they're divorced.
So I don't know if there was some anger because of that, but that's all how I knew to be a father. am I using you as a clout kid? Do you know, Coy, when me and your mother broke up, the $800,000 new house in Upper Saddle River, not Saddle River, we moved from the mansion to Upper Saddle River. Remember, I got indicted by the feds and I lost everything. I got indicted by the feds and I lost everything. Now, I go back to the street. Fuck the music industry. The street is there for me. I take my right back to Boston or any block in this country and get it. Because that's what I did. For real. But we started Hip Hop Weekly. We moved on. I moved to Miami. But I gave your mother a house. Now, before that, I was giving your mother $4,000 a month allowance. 4 G's a month for a few years. She could have took some of that money and saved it. She could have opened up a business. When I gave her the house, Coy, you, Taj, Kwame, and Marnie, when I gave her the house, like the 4 or 5 bedroom house, I was still spending $2,500 a month when we broke up. The mortgage was $1,800 a month. She said she couldn't afford it. I got no problems with Asia. I'm not disrespecting Asia, I'm not disrespecting your mother, but I'm telling my fucking truth because I'm tired of you lying on me and making, you don't understand, Corey, right? What I went through, like I represent a lot of in that town, in Roxbury, in Dorchester. But I can't let you come on the internet and ruin my reputation. How are you a clout kid? How am I using you for clout when I'm your storyline since day one? I thought it was over with. I thought after Rolling Loud, which you treated me like I was one of the fucking stage hands. It ain't no secret I'm not doing as better than I was, but I don't give a I don't care about, that's not what it is about me. Money didn't make me. I've had millions, and I've spent it on you, your mother, your 2 older brothers, Taj, and your uncle, Jason. Shout, that's my heart, paralyzed. I took care of everybody, and you knew that.
All right, listen, I don't have to go through much more of this because it's just him telling the story about how great he was and how well he treated her. And this is the problem with a lot of parents. They put all the effort into the kids, they put everything into the facade of the family, but they're not smart investors. They don't see into the future. This is a basic problem with a lot of people who come into a lot of money quickly. They just don't know how to manage money. So all I'm saying is, if you are a parent, if you are a young parent, make sure that you're putting something away for the older age. Your 401k isn't enough. Live below your means so that you can invest a small amount that compounds on itself every single year. Because you're going to reach this point in life, 65, 70, 80 years old, where nothing is coming in and you have nothing else to fall back on except your kids. And your kids have their own family to actually support. And more than likely, they're barely making it to provide for their own family. And a lot of people don't realize that as you get older, healthcare becomes a lot more expensive. Taking care of yourself, your health becomes a priority. You got the prostate problem, you got the high blood pressure problems, the cholesterol problems, the heart condition problems, the gout, you name it, requires a tremendous amount of medication, medical checkups, occasional bouts of ailments and problems. It never ends. And this takes a tremendous amount of financial strain on you. And if you can't pay, it's on the kids. Now, you as a child, you have to say to yourself, this is my mother, this is my father. When I was a child, they took care of me. My parents are now kids. I gotta take care of them. A lot of kids now have to add that expense in on top of their 1, 2, or 3 kids that they have currently. That's the reality of life. Now, I want to read some of the comments on this guy to see how people think about this man and his situation. This gentleman says, imagine taking care of your kids and they grow up saying you didn't. And they're using that as a storyline for their career. LOL. Imagine owning The Source and Hip Hop Weekly and your kids telling everyone you're using them for clout. LOL. Imagine you can't pick up your phone and ask your child for some money. You all clowning this man because you all weird as hell. And I don't like you all parent. When you all parent get old, you're supposed to look after them and take care of them as they once took care of you. You all are family. Stop being weirdos. Koi is the only one bashing her father, which put him in the position to defend himself every time. No parent want to hear that shit. Somebody respond, it's so much wrong going on here. Now on the other hand, somebody else responded. I think this is a male. He says, yeah bro, you lost me. You don't have the right. You don't deserve anything from your child. Your children should not be your retirement plan. Having kids so that they'll have someone to take care of you in your older years is extremely selfish. Wow. Especially if you have not provided any type of generational wealth. Now you're childish. Oftentimes the girl child is struggling to take care of themselves, their family, and you? Now is that fair? The decision to take care of you is theirs. The smart thing to do is set up a retirement plan. Children are not a retirement plan. They're not your emotional rehabilitation center. They're not your mini maids. They're not here so you can fill a void. And your children don't owe you because you've decided to have sex. And it's not cool to call them selfish for not wanting to take on a role they didn't even ask for. They didn't ask to be here. Wow! And now I understand why this man, Benzino, criticized today's modern society and these kids. Because this is how modern kids think. They think it's all about me, 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 me. But guess what? One day, they're going to have kids, and this is exactly what's going to happen. Because 90% of people are going to be in this situation where they do not have a retirement fund. Especially in today's environment, where everybody's just thinking about, oh, I need this, I need this, I need to buy this. Nobody's thinking about investing. I need to buy this, I want the bag, I want the car, I want the trips, I want the trips. Oh, I'm on a trip, I'm on a trip. In other words, wasting money that should be invested into their retirement. No one is doing that. Not today's generation, I can tell you that. Because it's a selfish, self-serving generation. Everybody's thinking about me. What can I get now? How can I show the gram? How can I show the world that I'm making it? Even if I'm faking it, I'm gonna spend that credit card. I'm gonna burn those loans until I show and convince the world that I am making it. That's where we are as a society. So let me see how you're gonna feel, my dear friend who wrote this last message, when you reach in your late 60s and you realize that all of that bling that you wasted your money on in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, and then realize that when I hit 40, I cannot sustain this life. And I've had so much debt accumulated, and then now I have to spend most of my 40s, 50s, and 60s repaying the massive amount of debt that I have accumulated. Or you file for bankruptcy, put you in even in a worse situation. That's the only two choices. Because most Americans, most Westerners are so deep in debt, they are shackled to the credit card companies. The credit card companies have them in shackles. The credit bureau is on their ass 24/7. Most people, and the worst ones, are the people with student loan debt. Those are the ones that are crying the loudest. Oh, I got a degree. I got a degree in philosophy. I got a degree in arts. Those are the ones that are deep. They're so deep in debt. They're literally one paycheck from bankruptcy or being homeless. Yeah, we know it. The numbers don't lie. The stats are wide open for us all to see.
It comes as over half of Americans earning a six-figure salary report that they're actually living paycheck to paycheck. So to help us break down all of this is Megan Lenhart. She's a senior reporter for Fortune magazine. Thanks for joining us. You know, a lot of people are going to hear you make $100,000 a year and you're living paycheck to paycheck. That seems it seems like crazy talk, but it's actually happening. But we're going to get to that. You're right. During the pandemic, when many people were still working, but they were getting additional funding from the government, people were paying down their credit cards. It was fantastic. And then it's like we didn't learn a lesson at all, or the tables turned quite rapidly because now we're charging more than we ever, or not more than we ever have before, but we sort of changed that trajectory. Why is that happening? Why didn't people pay down their credit cards and then go, great, let's keep it this way?
So when you say, oh, these parents are doing this to their kids, how dare these parents do this to their kids? You will be there. I can assure you, you'll be there. All right, let's read a couple more and then we'll lock this one off. This young lady said, girl, your parents had you. They had unprotected sex and had you. They brought you into this world. They owe you. Wow, okay. Coup de Testament says, someone responded to her, all this just for me to say honor your mother and father, especially when they take care of you all. You're all weird. Someone else responded to that woman. She said, my parents don't owe me a thing. My parents gave me a wonderful life. Now it's my turn. If my parents call me and ask me for anything without hesitation, I'll be there because they did so much for me. I'm sorry you all had bad parents and feel like you're not supposed to reciprocate. Yeah. Maeve Zoo said, I ain't got shite to say because my mom just came to my house and snatched money, laughing. She raised me all them years, so I will allow it. Queen Yazzie said, that's her dad and he did take care of her. Spending time was an issue because he was in the industry. You all sit on here and act like celebrity kids don't create issues like they grow up horrible. And if he did ask for money, that's her pops. Why do all of these interviews embarrassing him when he hasn't tried to do it to you? Yeah, you're right. If the man ran into some financial problems, you know, cash flow is always a big problem in today's day and age. You know, he called his daughter for some help. She's making over $3 million a year. Her net worth, I checked it out, she's worth about $3 million. He's only worth about $1 million now. Before, he was up to $10 million before the problems. So the point I'm trying to get across is, you know, some parents, especially in this industry, the music industry, hip hop industry, the sports industry, they're like lightning bolts, man. They flash bright and then they burn out quickly. But if they weren't taught how to manage money, this is what happens. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Are you in a situation where your parents are now relying on you? Is this a situation that you're in? And how do you feel about it? Let me know, guys. Okay? Remember, subscribe, log into askanolderman.com, book a session, and remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.